Hello dear student, welcome to new session of current electricity. It's your fourth lecture my dear student. In last lecture we'll discuss about Ohm's law. What is basically Ohm's law? That is V is equals to IR, and in Ohm's law we'll say potential is directly proportional to current. As potential across the conductor is increases, the current is also increases. And last we'll get the relation across the conductor of resistance R in which I current is flowing, and potential across the conductor, if it is V, then according to Ohm's law it is V is equals to IR. So I hope you all understand the topic. Then we'll discuss about resistance of any conductor. It is R is equals to rho L by A. Rho means resistivity, that is material constant my dear student. For different material the value of resistivity is different. L is length of conductor and A is area of cross section. Then we will see resistivity is inversely proportional to conductivity. If resistivity is more, then for that conductor conductivity is less, and as we know, if resistivity is high, then current across the conductor is low. Remember this thing, resistance and current are opposite to each other. If resistance is high, then current must be come. If resistivity is high, then conductivity is less. If conductivity is high, it means resistivity is less. These things are already discussed in previous class. Now we'll start our new topic. Write down this topic my dear student is very important. Through this topic we'll get lots of relations. So write down next topic. It is mechanism of flow of current. Mechanism of flow of current in any conductor. Mechanism of flow of current in any conductor. Mechanism of flow of current in any conductor. In this topic we'll see how current is flowing in any conductor. So write down how, in form of question, write down how current is flowing through the conductor. How current is flowing through the conductor. In this topic we'll discuss how current is flowing through any conductor. How current is flowing through any conductor. So now see my dear student, if I'm talking about conductor, the very first thing is conductor. So about conductor, we know that large number of free electrons are present in conductor. Remember this thing, there is a difference between conductor, semiconductor and insulator. We already discussed this thing, that in conductor large number of free electrons are there, in semiconductor less amount of free electrons are there, and in insulator no free electrons are present in insulator. So my dear student, basically let's suppose we have a conductor. This is, let's suppose, a conductor. In this conductor we know that large number of free electrons are present. Large number of free electrons are present in this conductor. Let's suppose this cross section is carry a point A and this cross section carry point B. This is a conductor. Let's suppose its length is L. In this conductor large number of free electrons are present. So as we know that in case of conductor, these free electrons are basically charge carriers. When we are discussing the topic insulator, semiconductor and conductor, I already tell you my dear student, these free electrons which is present in conductor is basically a transporter. which can carry charge from point A to point B, and in that case charge is flowing, so current is defined. As we know, current is nothing but rate of flow of charge with respect to time. So we'll say these free electrons are basically charge carriers. These free electrons can carry charge from one point and move towards another point. Due to the movement, current is defined, because we know that current is nothing but rate of flow of charge with respect to time. If charge is flowing with respect to time, then current is defined. And remember, my dear student, flow of charge, basically charge is of two types. One is electron and another is proton. So which type of charge when we are talking about conductor? So basically flow of charge is always electron. So my dear student, as I'll write, large number of free electrons are present in conductor, and these free electrons are charge carriers. These free electrons are charge carriers. Due to these free electrons, current is capable to flow in conductor. As we know, in insulator, no free electrons are there, hence no current is flowing across the insulator. So see, my dear student, we have a conductor in which L length is there, and let's suppose large number of free electrons are present in this conductor. I'll write here, let n number of free electron are present in given conductor, So this is our conductor in which n number of free electrons, large number means n number of free electrons are present in this conductor. Now see, my dear student, remember one more thing, free electrons always in motion. Free electrons never become at rest. Remember this thing, free electron always in motion. So I'll write here again, free electrons which is present in conductor, is always in motion. So my dear student, you have to remember 2-3 things related to this topic. First thing, the free electrons in conductor is very large by number. We are considering in our conductor the number of free electrons is n. And remember one more thing, free electrons never be at rest. Free electrons always performs motion. So it implies the electrons which is present inside this conductor always in motion. And my dear students, see, let's suppose we have a room whose capacity is of 10%. Let's suppose we have a room in which the capacity of number of person is 10, but I'll put 50% in this room whose capacity is of 10%. Now there are 50% in this room. So my dear student, if I'm interested to move from this point to this point in this room, then see, actually the room capacity is of 10%, but I'll put 50% in this room. Now I wish to go from point A to point B. I want to go from point A to point B. Just imagine that if capacity of room is of 10%, but now there are 50% in this room. 50 persons are present in this room, and you wish to go from point A to point B. So it is impossible under the presence of 50% to go straight from point A to point B. It is impossible to go straight from point A to point B. If I start moving from point A to point B, then my motion is always zigzag, because number of person in this room is very high and collision takes place. So we know that as we are student of physics, and in second year, if collision can take place, then energy loss is there. and we know that energy depends on velocity. Which kind of energy we are talking? We are talking about kinetic energy, dear student. So if collision can take place, then kinetic energy get lost. We can say the kinetic energy of body decreasing, and kinetic energy depends on velocity. So remember, my dear student, velocity is a vector quantity which depends on magnitude as well as direction both. So if I am moving from point A to point B, I am colliding with other persons and my velocity continuously changes. So my motion never be straight line. My motion is always zigzag. Remember, if overcrowded room is there and we wish to go from point A to point B, then my motion never be straight line. It is impossible to create motion in straight line. My motion is always zigzag because I'll make number of collisions with different persons, and if collision can take place, then energy loss is there. Energy means kinetic energy, and if kinetic energy is changing, then it must we must say that velocity is changing. That's why kinetic energy is changing, because kinetic energy depends on velocity. So remember, if overcrowded room is there, we'll never go straight from point A to point B. Our motion is always zigzag. Now apply this principle here, as we know that conductor carry very large number of free electrons, and free electrons always be in motion, my dear student. Free electrons never be at rest. Free electrons always in motion. So see, as the number of free electrons in conductor is very high, hence the motion of these free electrons which is present in conductor is always zigzag. Remember this thing, as the number of free electrons in conductor is very high, hence the free electron which always in motion is performing zigzag motion, because number of collision can take place. If one free electron starts moving, then it collides with its neighbor free electron, its neighbor free electron, its neighbor free electron. So there are number of collisions can take place inside the conductor by free electrons. So these free electrons is in motion, but its motion is always zigzag, because number of free electrons which is present inside the conductor is very high, and once the free electron starts performing motion, it collides with its neighboring free electron, its velocity changes, its direction changes, and its motion is always zigzag. So remember this thing, my dear student. There is no any physics mechanism here. I am asking that number of free electron in this conductor is very high. That's why free electrons means the electron which is always in motion. Free electron never be at rest. If electron is at rest, then it is not a free electron. So my dear student, as the number of free electrons inside the conductor is very high, hence the motion of free electrons is always zigzag, because every free electron collides with its next free electron. Hence its motion, its velocity changes. Velocity is vector, its direction changes. So we'll say these free electrons are always performing zigzag motion inside the conductor. So I'll write here the free electron which is present inside the conductor, the free electrons which is present inside the conductor is always perform zigzag motion as between the electrons large number of collision takes place. Large number of collision takes place. So you have to remember this thing, my dear student. If anyone asks what type of motion is carried by free electron which is present in conductor? So your answer must be the free electrons which is present inside the conductor is always performing zigzag motion. Why zigzag motion? Because large number of free electrons are there. Hence, once any free electron starts moving, it collides with its neighbor free electron, its velocity direction changes. So its direction of motion is always zigzag. Now see, my dear student, I hope you all understand this thing. So if I'm talking about large number of free electrons and I'll say you let n number of free electrons are present in this conductor. Next point is, if n number of free electrons are present in conductor, there every conductor carry different velocities. Remember, free electrons always in motion, always is in motion. Free electrons always is in motion. Hence, every electron carry different velocities. So let the initial velocity, I'll write here, let the initial velocity of free electron present in given conductor be U1, U2, U3 up to Un. As we know, n number of free electrons are present inside the conductor. Every free electron carry different initial velocity. First conductor carry, let's suppose U1 velocity. Second conductor carry, let's suppose U2 velocity. Third electron carry U3 velocity. Nth electron carry Un velocity. So one more thing is cleared now, that in conductor, all the free electrons carry different velocities. Now moving forward, see, each charge is electron inside this conductor. So if every charge is electron, then every charge carry different velocities, but their mass must be same. So I'll write here, let the mass of free electron be m. Now my dear student, we'll consider three things. Total number of free electron present in conductor is n. Every electron carry different initial velocities and every electron carry same mass, because mass of electron is constant. Every electron carries same mass. So we are considering mass of electron to be m. Next point what we'll discuss is every electron performs zigzag motion. Why zigzag motion, my dear student? Because large number of free electrons are present inside the conductor. Every conductor make collision. Due to collision, its velocity direction changes. That's why its motion is zigzag. There is no any other mechanism of zigzag motion. There is only thing due to which the free electron is performing zigzag motion, just as the number of free electrons in any conductor is very high, or we can say very large. That's why collision can take place in every second, in every microsecond. Each electron makes collision with its neighboring electron, hence its velocity changes, and if velocity changes, then its direction of motion is also changing. So we'll say the free electrons which is present inside the conductor performs zigzag motion. Moving forward, we know that current is nothing but rate of flow of charge. Current is nothing but rate of flow of charge with respect to time. See, my dear student, basically the definition of current is rate of flow of charge with respect to time is called current. I am repeating once again, the definition of current is rate of flow of charge with respect to time is called current, and the charge which is flowing is always electron. Now see, this is a piece of conductor in which large number of free electrons are in motion. I am repeating once again, this is a piece of conductor in which large number of free electrons is present, and all the free electrons, which is basically charge, all the free electrons is performing motion with respect to time. It is but obvious. but still, my dear student, just imagine, current is rate of flow of charge with respect to time. It means if charge is flowing with respect to time, current is defined. And which charge? We are talking about electron. If electron is flowing with respect to time, current is defined. I am repeating once again, very important topic. This topic is very important, my dear student. Remember, if electron is flowing with respect to time, current is defined. Here also, in this piece of conductor which is not connected with any external circuit, my dear student, this is a piece of wire. Let's suppose this is a piece of copper wire. It is placed like this. And in this piece of wire, lots of free electrons are performing motion. And we know that the definition of current is flow of electron with respect to time is called current. This is the definition of current, and this is 100% right definition. Rate of flow of electron with respect to time is called current. Here in this piece of conductor, here in this piece of wire, electron is flowing, my dear student, but still just imagine if there is a piece of wire placed like this, placed ideally, and if you will touch it, you cannot feel any amount of current, my dear student. If you will place your finger in socket, you will feel the current. And we know that the definition of current is rate of flow of charge with respect to time. If electron is flowing with respect to time, current is defined. Here in this piece of copper wire, electron is flowing, but still current is not defined. If you will touch this piece of wire, there is no effect of current feel by your finger. But instead of touching this wire, place the finger in your electrical socket, you will feel the current. Why? Why? Just imagine. Because current is nothing but rate of flow of electron. Here also electron is flowing, but these electron cannot create current. I am repeating once again. Rate of flow of electron with respect to time is called current. In this piece of conductor, electron is flowing, but still you cannot get any amount of current across this conductor. If you will touch this wire, this is a piece of wire, if you will touch the wire, you cannot, experiences any amount of current. But if you will place your finger on any electrical socket, you will feel the current. Why this happens? Because we know that the definition of current is flow of electron with respect to time is called current. Here electron is flowing, but still current is not achieved, my dear student. There is only one reason behind electron is moving, but still current is not achieving. See, these free electrons are in zigzag motion because large number of free electrons are present inside this conductor. So my dear student, let's suppose this electron starts moving. So when this electron starts moving, then it make collision with a neighbor electron because large number of free electrons is there. As I already give you the example, if the capacity of room is of 10% and you will place 50% and you wish to move from point A to point B, then your motion never be straight line. Even we can imagine it, you cannot reach from point A to point B. No one will be, give the space to go to move. So my dear student, just imagine why these electrons are in motion but still current is not achieved. Because no electron can reaches from point A to point B. No any free electron reaches from point A to point B because these electrons are these electrons once moving, then it make collision with other electron. Hence, no any electron can reaches from point A to point B. Until and unless any electron cannot reach from one cross section to another cross section, it cannot define any amount of current, my dear students. So we'll say in this conductor, electrons are moving, free electrons are moving, but still current is not achieved because no any free electron can reaches from one cross section to another cross section. That's why these, due to these motion, due to these electrons, current is not defining. So I'll write here, no free electrons in conductor, no free electrons in conductor can reaches from one cross section to another. That's why due to flow of these free electron, current is not achieved. Current is not achieved. So I'll write here, no free electron in conductor can reaches from one cross section to another. That's why due to the flow of these free electrons, current is not achieved. Because once the electron starts moving, it collides with another electron, it reaches back to its original place. So there are infinite number of collision can take place inside this conductor between the two free electrons. No free electron can reaches from point A to point B. So I hope you all understand this mechanism. What I am saying? I am saying that large number of free electrons are present in this conductor. Every conductor carry different initial velocity, but their masses are same. These free electrons are in motion, but still current is not defined by these electrons. As we know, current is basically flow of electron with respect to time. Here electrons are flowing, but still current is not defined because no any free electron reaches from one cross section to another cross section. Until and unless the free electrons cannot reaches from one cross section to another cross section, it cannot define current. So an ideal piece of wire carry an infinite number of free electrons, or we can say large number of free electrons. They are in motion, but still current is not achieved due to their motion, as their motion is random and no free electron can reaches from one point to another point. So moving forward, my dear student, let's start. So we can say that the motion, the effect of motion of these free electrons in conductor is zero. I'll write here the effect of motion, the effect of motion of free electron present in conductor is zero. Because why zero, my dear student? Because it cannot define any current. Why cannot define any current? Because no electron can reaches from point A to point B. Next very important thing is, between the free electrons there are infinite number of collision can takes place. Remember, so the collision between free electrons, between two free electron in conductor is up to infinity. So one free electron can make collision up to infinite time, my dear student, inside the conductor. Now see what I'll write. I'll write these free electrons which is present in conductor is in motion, but the effect of motion is zero, because if electron is moving with respect to time, its effect is to define current. Remember, if electron is moving with respect to time, then its effect is nothing but to define the current. But here, my dear student, electrons is moving in this wire, but no current is defined. Why no current is defined? Because no any free electron can reaches from point A to point B, as large number of collision can takes place inside the conductor between free electrons. So no free electron can reaches from point A to point B. Until and unless any free electron can reaches from point A to point B, it cannot define current. So the effect of motion of these free electrons inside the conductor is 0. Now my dear student, every free electron carry different velocity, but their masses is same. So what I'll do, I'll find the average initial velocity of the free electrons present in this conductor. So I'll write average initial velocity of free electron present inside the conductor. Average velocity, average means, my dear student, center of mass, velocity of center of mass. Remember, average means nothing but velocity of center of mass. And in class first year, you already discussed about velocity of center of mass. The formula of velocity of center of mass, see, finding average or finding the velocity of center mass, both thing is same. So I am finding velocity of center of mass. So if you are aware with the formula of velocity of center of mass, it is m1u1 plus m2u2 plus m3u3 upon m1 plus m2 plus m3. Basically, this is the formula for finding velocity of center of mass, which is also called average. So my dear student, we have n number of free electrons. Total number of free electrons in given conductor as we consider is n. So I'll write here initial velocity of center of mass, or we can say average initial velocity of these free electrons is, see, every electron carries same mass, but their initial velocities are different. So I'll write mu1 plus mu2 plus mu3. Instead of m1, m2, m3, we'll write same m, because every free electron carries same mass. So I'll write mu1 plus mu2 plus up to, my dear student, mun divided by m plus up to n times. And we know that these electrons are in motion, but its effect is 0 because no free electron can reaches from point A to point B. So we'll say their effect is, my dear student, 0. So I'll write here it is equals to nothing but 0. So I'll write here un and its effect is 0. So u center of mass is equals to, see, we are adding. So instead of add, we can use summation. So I'll put symbol of summation, summation ui, and m is constant. M comes outside, where I is 1 to n upon m plus m plus m plus m plus m. How much time, beta? N times, because n number of free electrons are there. So m into n, and its effect is 0. Now see, m and m get cancelled. So u center of mass is summation u by n. Now I am not writing I is equals to 1 to n, because we know that the number of free electrons is 1 to n, first to n electrons. So this is the average initial velocity of free electrons present inside the conductor. And its effect is 0. So my dear student, very important concept is this, that lots of free electrons are present inside the conductor. They are in motion, and we know that if electrons are in motion, then its effect is current. But here no current is defined, because the initial velocity of, or we can say the average velocity of all the free electrons present inside the conductor is 0. Now see, my dear student, what we'll do next step. Now I'll connect that conductor in which n number of free electrons are there with a battery. So write down, if the conductor in which, write down, if the conductor in which n number of free electrons are present, if the conductor in which conductor in which n number of free electron are present is connected with the battery. Now see my dear student, what we'll do, this is our conductor in which n number of free electrons are there. Now we'll connect this conductor with a battery. Let's suppose the potential of battery is V volt. So I'll write here, let the potential of battery is equals to, my dear student, V volt. So we have a battery having potential V is connected with that conductor whose length is L and in which n number of free electrons are present. Now see my dear student, this is our conductor. This, let's suppose this point is A and this point is B. So as we all know now that if this conductor is connected with battery, the current starts flowing. As we know, if this conductor is connected with battery, current starts flowing. So I'll write here the current starts flowing in the conductor. After connecting the battery, we know that the current must starts flowing inside this conductor. So what actually happened after connecting the battery, so that current is now starts flowing inside the conductor. I'm repeating once again. Once we'll connect the battery with the conductor, now current starts flowing inside the conductor. So what basically happened after connecting the battery inside the conductor so that current starts flowing? This is the topic which we'll discuss. I'm repeating once again. After connecting the battery of potential V, battery creates something so that current starts flowing inside the conductor. So our task is now to understand what actually happened after connecting the battery so that current starts flowing, my dear students. So let's check out. Remember one thing, once you'll connect the battery across any conductor, battery creates electric field inside the conductor. I'm repeating once again. I'll write it down. If the battery is connected across the conductor, battery creates electric field. Battery creates electric field inside the conductor. Battery creates electric field inside the conductor. Very first thing that you have to learn is, when you are connecting a battery across the conductor, very first thing what happened, my dear student, the battery creates electric field inside the conductor. So see, we know that the direction of electric field is always from higher potential to lower potential. I'll write it down. The direction of electric field is always from higher potential to the lower potential, and we know that positive is nothing but higher potential and negative is nothing but lower potential. So inside this conductor, after connecting the battery create electric field in this conductor, and the direction of electric field is always from higher potential to lower potential. See, A is connected with higher potential and B is connected with lower potential. Positive means higher potential, negative means lower potential. So what happened, my dear student? This battery creates electric field inside this conductor from A to B. So see, the electric field is generated inside the conductor from A to B, that is from higher potential to lower potential. Now see what happened next. as we know, if charge is present inside the electric field, if charge is present inside the electric field, charge experiences electric force. Charge experiences electric force of magnitude F is equals to QE. This relation is, we'll cover in first chapter. What actually it is? If electric field is there and inside the electric field any charge is present, then that charge experiences force. If charge is positive, then the direction of force must be along the direction of electric field, and if charge is negative, then the direction of force is opposite to direction of electric field. So see, my dear student, here in this conductor, electric field is generated by the battery from A to B, as A is of higher potential and B is of lower potential. And we all know that the electrons are present inside the conductor and battery creates electric field inside the conductor. So what happened? These free electrons experiences electric force opposite to direction of electric field, and it is F is equals to QE, because we know that if any charge is present inside the electric field, then that charge experiences electric force of magnitude F is equals to QE. Now see, each electron carries same charge, and for every electron electric field is same. So we'll say each electron carry same force and the direction of force is also same for every charge. So I'll write here the charge present inside the conductor, experiences, or we can say not charge, free electron. The free electron present inside the conductor experiences electric force F is equals to QE. And remember, my dear student, each electron carries same force, because every electron carries same charge, and for every electron electric field is also same. So we'll say each electron carries same force. It is F is equals to QE. So moving forward, my dear student, next step is, so steps are clear. After connecting the battery, current starts flowing inside the conductor. Step 1, battery creates electric field inside the conductor. Due to that electric field, the free electrons which is present inside the conductor experiences force. Each electron experiences same force, because for every electron charge is same and electric field is same. Their direction of force is also same, because all electron carry negative charge, and we know that the force experienced by negative charge under the presence of electric field is opposite to direction of electric field. Moving forward, so the force which is experienced by each electron is F is equals to QE. F is equals to QE. Now see, charge on electron is nothing but E. So instead of Q, we'll write E. So F is equals to EE. Now we know that each electron carries same mass. So by Newton's law of motion, that is F is equals to MA. So MA is equals to EE. So A is equals to EE by M. So this is nothing but, my dear student, acceleration of free electron in conductor. Acceleration of free electron in conductor. Now see, acceleration of free electron in conductor is EE by M. So E is basic charge. Its value is nothing but 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. M is mass of electron. Mass of electron is nothing but 9.1 into 10 raised power minus 31 kg, and this E is electric field. So every free electron carries same charge, every free electron carries same mass, and for every electron electric field is also same. So this acceleration is nothing but constant, my dear student. Remember, so we'll say the free electrons which is present inside the conductor under the presence of electric field, when current is defining, the acceleration of free electrons is EE by M, and the value of acceleration is constant. Next step, my dear student, I hope you all understand these all concepts. These concepts are just related with first chapter. As we know, electric field, under the presence of electric field, the charges experiences force of magnitude F is equals to QE, and the direction of force for electron is opposite to the direction of electric field. So see, my dear student, here after connecting the battery, current is defined. When we are not connecting the battery, at that time current is not defined, but still the electrons are moving, but their direction of motion is random. If 10 electrons are moving in this direction, then 10 electrons are moving in this direction. So both 10 electrons cancel each other and its effect is zero without the presence of battery. Hence we will say electron is moving, but its effect, that is current, is not achieved. Current is zero. But here when we will connect the battery across the conductor, now we will achieve the value of current, my dear student. So we will say, okay, current is defining, understand. Battery creates electric field. Due to the presence of electric field, all the free electrons which is present inside the conductor experiences force. The force on every electron is same, its magnitude is same, and their direction of motion is also same. So we will say all the free electrons, when current is flowing inside the conductor, I will write here, when current is flowing inside the conductor, under presence of battery, all the free electrons start moving in same direction. So one more step is there, my dear student. As when battery is not present, then free electrons are in motion, but their motion are random. Not all the electrons cannot move in same direction. But once we'll connect the battery, all the free electrons are moving in same direction, my dear student, because every free electron present inside the conductor experiences same force, and the value of force is F is equals to QE. Remember this thing. Now see, when battery is not connected with the conductor, no free electrons can reaches from point A to point B. Their motion is zigzag. After connecting the battery, now we'll achieve current. All the free electrons are moving in same direction, but remember, still the motion of free electrons is zigzag, my dear students. Still, after achieving the value of current, I am writing here, after achieving the value of current, still free electrons are in zigzag motion, because zigzag motion is due to large number of free electrons. So my dear student, one more thing must be clear on your mind, that before connecting the battery, current is not defined, the motion of free electrons are zigzag. Still the motion of free electrons is zigzag. After connecting the battery, in this situation current is achieved, but still remember, my dear student, still the motion of free electron is zigzag, because zigzag motion is not any physical mechanism. It is just zigzag motion because large number of free electrons are there. Next step. See, my dear student, if large number of free electrons are there and electrons are in zigzag motion, because collision between electron can take place. Now see, collision between two electrons, collision time between two electrons is not fixed. let's suppose one electron collides with another within 1 second, it is not possible that third and fourth electron also make collision in 1 second itself. So in this conductor, large number of free electrons are there, and each free electron collides with another free electron in different periods of time. So there are infinite number of collision can takes place between every free electron with its neighboring free electron. So we'll say if every collision takes place in different time, and if infinite number of collision can takes place inside the conductor between two free electrons, then infinite number of times will be achieved. If infinite number of time will be achieved, then it is not possible for us to make any equation. So what we'll do, we'll take a average time of collision between two free electrons. That average time of collision is said to be relaxation time. So what is basically relaxation time is, my dear student? Average time of collision between two free electrons present in conductor. See, I am repeating once again. Just think about it. There are infinite number of collision is possible, takes place inside the conductor between two free electrons. So if infinite number of collision is possible to takes place between two free electrons, then infinite every collision is not fixed, must take place in same time. So if infinite number of collision takes place inside the conductor between two free electrons, then infinite number of times will be formed. So to avoid this, we'll consider a average time. This average time is called relaxation time, and this time is represented by tau, and we'll consider this time to be constant, and we'll write the average time of collision, between two free electrons, is called relaxation time, my dear student. Remember this thing. See, actually infinite number of collision can takes place between two free electrons, and every collision will takes place in different time. So infinite number of times will be possible. So we cannot get any further equation if infinite number of times will be there. So what we'll consider? Okay, let's suppose a average time of collision which is represented by tau. So this is the time in which two successive collision in which two electrons can collide. Every electron can collide in this time only. So this time is called relaxation time. It is represented by tau, and this relaxation time is considered to be constant. So we'll say the average time of collision between two free electron is called relaxation time. So moving forward, my dear student, now see. What we'll see that after connecting the battery, the free electrons achieves acceleration, and the acceleration is constant. It is E by m. The acceleration of free electron is E by m. That acceleration is constant. It means every free electron carries same acceleration. It is E by m. So acceleration is constant, collision time is also considered to be constant. It is E by m, and this acceleration is constant. This acceleration is achieved by all the free electrons which is present inside the conductor. Now see, the initial velocity of free electrons are u1, u2, u3 up to un. okay, and acceleration is there. So if acceleration is there, it means the velocity of free electrons is changes, because acceleration achieves when velocity is changing. As we all know, acceleration is nothing but change in velocity with respect to time. So if initial velocity is u1, u2, u3 up to un, then after connecting battery, the free electrons is accelerating. It means its velocity is also changing. So let's suppose, let the final velocity of free electron is v1, v2, v3 up to vn. v1, v2, v3 up to vn. Acceleration is constant and relaxation time, that is time of collision, is also constant. So I'll use by equation of motion with constant acceleration. By equation of motion with constant acceleration, my dear student. Equation of motion with constant acceleration we are capable to use now, because acceleration is constant. So if acceleration is constant, then you will free to use equation of motion. I am using equation of motion, v is equals to u plus at. Now see, for first free electron, final velocity is v1, initial velocity is u1. For every free electron, acceleration is same and time is also same. So I'll write here, for first it is v1 is equals to u1 plus a is e by m into tau. For second free electron, it is v2 is equals to u2 plus e by m into tau. Similarly, nth electron carry velocity vn is equals to un plus e by m into tau. Now if I'll add all the velocities, it implies velocity of center of mass, my dear student. Basically we are adding all the velocities. So if I'm adding all the velocity, it can be write as summation v is equals to u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus u4 up to un. That means summation u plus e by m into tau plus e by m into tau. How much time beta? N times. So I'll write n into e by m into tau. Why? Because we are adding e by m into tau n times. So n into e by m into tau. Now see, my dear student, divide LHS and RHS by n, which is number of free electrons present inside the conductor. I am dividing this equation on both LHS and RHS by n, where n is nothing but number of free electrons present inside the conductor. So just divide the equation, you will get, just check it out, what you will get. We will get summation of v by n is equals to summation u by n plus n into e by m into tau divided by n. Now see, n get cancelled. Summation u by n, if you are aware, it is nothing but u center of mass, or we can say average velocity, average initial velocity of center of mass. If this becomes u center of mass, then this is also to be v center of mass. Now see, my dear student, summation u by n is nothing but 0, as we'll already discuss, because initially the effect of all the free electrons which is in motion is nothing. So u center of mass is 0. So v center of mass is equals to 0 plus e by m into tau. So v center of mass is equals to e by m into tau. This value is also, my dear student, constant, and remember, this velocity is considered to be drift velocity. This velocity, that is average final velocity of free electron after connecting the battery, is called drift velocity. So the drift velocity is of free electron present in conductor achieved after connecting the battery is E by m into tau, and remember E is constant, electric field is constant, tau is constant, m is constant, so the value of drift velocity is also be constant. This velocity is called drift velocity. Remember this thing, this velocity of free electrons present inside the conductor is called drift velocity. Now copy it, then we'll move forward to our next relation. So I hope you all understand about the drift velocity. Drift velocity is that velocity of free electron which is achieved by the drift velocity is basically that velocity which is achieved by free electron after connecting the battery. It is sort of complicated, a sort of confusion will be created in this topic. But if you are aware with each and every concept, then there is no confusion at all there. So write down next topic, current inside the conductor. Current inside the conductor. Current inside the conductor. Current inside the conductor. Write down next topic, it is current inside the conductor. 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 Now we'll discuss the relation, that is current inside the conductor. So check it out, my dear student. Let's suppose we have a conductor. Let's suppose we have a conductor like this. Current inside the conductor. Our next topic is current inside the conductor. Now we'll find the relation of current inside the conductor. What is the relation of current inside the conductor? So see, let's suppose we have a conductor of length L. We have a conductor like this, in which the length of conductor is considered to be L. Here is our conductor, length of conductor is L, and let's suppose the radius of conductor is R, and in this conductor let's suppose I'll connect a battery. This is a battery having potential, let's suppose V volt, having potential, let's suppose V volt. Now see, my dear student, as we already discussed these things, that if a battery is connected across a conductor, battery creates electric field inside the conductor, and we know that the direction of electric field is always from higher potential to lower potential. So see, this is R plus, this is minus, so B carry higher potential, A carry lower potential, so direction of electric field must be B to A. Now see, my dear student, I am assuming that let n number of free electrons are present in conductor per unit volume, not total number of free electrons. I am assuming that let the number of free electron per unit volume is equals to n. I am considering n is the number of free electrons present per unit volume. N is the number of free electrons present per unit volume. So n is basically number of free electrons present in unit volume, my dear student. Now check it out. Let's suppose I am considering a cross sectional area. Let's suppose this is our considered cross sectional area. This is our cross sectional area. This is our cross sectional area which we'll consider, and I'm considering, let the time consider to be delta t. I'm considering time to be delta t, and we'll consider a cross section here like this. As we all know, large number of free electrons are present inside the conductor, my dear student, and due to presence of electric field, these free electrons experiences force, due to which it starts accelerating of acceleration E by m. It achieves a velocity called drift velocity. It is E by m into tau. Every electron moves in same direction with same velocity. So the direction of velocity of free electron must be opposite to the direction of electric field. As we know, electric field is in the presence of electric field, electron experiences force opposite to direction of electric field. These things are, understand by us in previous topic. Now see, I'm considering delta t time, and I am asking how many electron can pass the given cross sectional area in time t is equals to delta t. I am repeating once again, my dear student. I am interested to find how many electron can passes the given cross sectional area in time t is equals to delta t. So see, this is the considered area of cross section and time is delta t. I am interested to find how many number of free electron can passes this cross sectional area in time delta t, which has velocity equals to drift velocity, and it is E by m into tau. I am repeating once again. I am interested to find how many number of free electron can passes this given cross sectional area in time delta t. As we all know, my dear student, these all free electrons carry same velocity, and that velocity is called drift velocity, and the value of drift velocity is nothing but E by m into tau. So I'll write number of free electron passes the given cross section in time t is equals to delta t is, see, we know that speed is equals to distance upon time. So distance is nothing but speed into time. Now my dear students, see, the speed of all the free electrons is Vd and time is delta t. So we'll say, now see, the relation is of distance, and distance relation is Vd into delta t, where Vd is drift velocity and delta t is time interval. So I'll say all the free electrons which is present in distance Vd into delta t. I am repeating once again. All the free electron present in distance Vd into delta t can cross the given area of cross section in time t is equals to delta t. All the free electrons present in distance Vd into delta t can cross the given area of cross section in time t is equals to delta t. Remember this thing. All the free electrons, I am asking that how many electrons can passes this cross section in time delta t. So the answer is all the free electrons which is present in distance Vd into delta t can passes the given cross section in time delta t. My dear student, I hope you all understand this thing. Now see, if I'll take this region, it will be look like this. If you are aware with the structure, this is basically, so this length is nothing but Vd into delta t, and the radius is considered to be, my dear student, r. If I'll flap this structure, it converted like this, and this becomes cylinder, my dear student. This is nothing but cylinder. This is nothing but cylinder whose height is Vd into delta t. Whose height is Vd into delta t. This becomes cylinder whose height is Vd into delta t. Now we all know that the volume of cylinder is pi r square h. The volume of cylinder is pi r square h. I'll writing the volume of cylinder. So the volume of cylinder is volume of cylinder. I'm writing volume of cylinder. So the volume of cylinder is pi r square h. See here, my dear student, the height of cylinder is Vd into delta t. So we'll say volume is equals to pi r square Vd into delta t. So this is the volume of cylinder. This is the volume of cylinder. Now check it out, my dear student. I am interested to find how many number of free electrons are present in this volume. As we know, number of free electrons per unit volume is n. As we'll discuss early, that we are considering small n is number of free electron present in unit volume. Number of free electrons present in unit volume, or we already considered this thing. See, our volume is this, and in 1 meter cube per unit volume means nothing but 1 meter cube. So in 1 meter cube, number of free electrons is n. So in given volume, how many electrons are there? So number of free electron in given volume, that must be equal to number of free electron in 1 unit volume multiply by this given volume. So number of free electron per unit volume is n. So n into pi r square Vd into delta t. This is nothing but number of free electron in given volume. The given volume is nothing but pi r square Vd into delta t. So the number of free electron in given volume is number of free electron in 1 meter cube, that is in unit volume, multiply by given volume. So this becomes the number of free electron. Now we are interested to find the value of current, my dear student, in this conductor, and we know that current is nothing but delta q by delta t. Rate of flow of charge with respect to time is called current. As we know, the relation of current is delta q by delta t. So if number of free electrons we'll find the value of charge. So charge in given volume. As we know, delta q is equals to Ne. So this is Rn, multiply it with E, you will get delta q. So delta q is equals to N is n pi r square Vd into delta t. This is the number of electron. So n means number of electron, and for converting number of electron into charge, we have to multiply it with E. E is nothing but value of charge. So this becomes charge. Put the value in this equation. So I is equals to n pi r square Vd into delta t divided by delta t. Delta t get cancelled. So I becomes equals to, my dear student, check it out. Finally, we'll get the relation. So I is equals to n pi r square Vd. Now see, pi r square is nothing but area. Area can be write as A. So I is equals to n. There is E also present, Ne. So Ne, and this is A and Vd. So this is basically relation of current in a conductor. My dear student, remember, small n is number of free electron per unit volume. Per unit volume means 1 meter cube. E is basic charge. Its value is 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. A is area of cross section, and Vd is, my dear student, drift velocity. Vd is drift velocity. This is the relation of current in a conductor. This relation, my dear student, is very important. I is equals to NEA Vd. Try to learn this relation, try to understand this relation, because this relation is, dear student, very, very, very important. Now moving forward from this relation, we'll find some more relations. So let's start. As we all know, the relation of current density is J is equals to I by A. So what we'll get? We'll get a relation. It is I is equals to NEAVD. Remember, I is nothing but current inside the conductor. N is number of free electrons present per unit volume. A is area of cross section. Now see, I is equals to NEAVD, and we know that current density is nothing but J is equals to I by A, that is current per unit area is called current density. Current per unit area is called current density. So moving forward, my dear student, A comes this side, so it will be I by A is equals to NEVD. I by A becomes J, so J is equals to NEVD. Now check it out. We know that Vd is drift velocity and it is E by m into tau. Let's put the value of Vd in this equation. So what we'll get? Check it out, my dear student, what we'll get. So we'll get a relation. It is J is equals to Ne, and instead of Vd, I'll write E by m into tau. So J becomes equals to E into E, it is E square. E is electric field, m is mass, T is relaxation time, that is tau. Now see, my dear student, J is equals to E square tau n by m into E. Now see, E is constant, its value is 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. Tau is relaxation time, which is also constant term, my dear student. M is mass of electron and N is number of free electrons per unit volume. These all terms are basically nothing but material constant. So instead of all these terms, we'll replace these. All are basically material constant. Here two things itself is constant. E is constant and M is constant. Two terms will be material constant. N is number of free electrons per unit volume. For different materials, the number of free electrons per unit volume is different, and tau is relaxation time. It is basically for different materials, the collision time must be different. So two terms is nothing but material constant. Now see, these whole terms can be replaced by a single term called sigma, and this sigma is nothing but conductivity. This whole constant is replaced by sigma, as sigma is E squared tau n by m, my dear student, remember. So we can replace all these terms with a single term called sigma. So sigma is equals to J is equals to now sigma into E. J is equals to sigma into E. About sigma, we already discussed lots of things, that sigma is nothing but conductivity. So J becomes equals to sigma into E, and this relation, my dear student, is also called differential form of Ohm's law. This relation is called differential form of Ohm's law. Now move forward. Let's discuss another relation. We have one more relation which we have to discuss. So let's complete that relation. So I hope you all are understanding all the equations. So J is equals to sigma into E. J is equals to sigma into E, my dear student. This is basically nothing but, this equation is called differential form of Ohm's law. 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 Moving forward. So see, as we'll get J is equals to sigma into E, we know that instead of E we can write E is equals to V by L, where V is potential across the conductor and L is length of the conductor. So in this conductor, electric field is generated by battery whose potential is V volt and length of conductor is L. So instead of E we'll write V by L. So J, instead of J we can write I by A. So what we'll get? I by A is equals to sigma into V by L. Now my dear student, as we all know, sigma can be write as 1 by rho. So I by A is equals to 1 by rho into V by L. See, we have Ohm's law. Ohm's law says V is equals to IR, and we know that R is nothing but rho L by A. So check it out, my dear student. Rho can be take this side, L can also take this side. So rho into L by A is equals to V by I. So this term becomes equals to R. So R is equals to V by I. So V is equals to, my dear student, IR. This is nothing but Ohm's law. I hope you all understand this equation as well. So moving forward, my dear student, we'll discuss some more results, some more relations. So write it down first, then we'll move forward. Write down. I hope you all understand these equations. Copy all the equations. Make proper note, because every equation in this lecture is very important. We'll discuss about differential form of Ohm's law. It is J is equals to sigma into E. With the help of differential form of Ohm's law, we'll get Ohm's law. It is V is equals to IR. In this relation, we'll discuss about current inside the conductor. It is I is equals to NeAVD, where N is number of free electrons per unit volume. Remember, after then we'll discuss about drift velocity. Drift velocity is nothing but the velocity which is acquired by free electron after connecting the conductor with the help of battery. It is E by m into tau. Then we'll discuss about relaxation time. So relaxation time is the average time of collision between two free electrons present inside the conductor. Then we'll discuss about acceleration of free electron inside the conductor. It is E by m. That acceleration is constant acceleration. Then we'll see how free electrons are in motion inside the conductor, but still we cannot get the current through it. So moving forward, my dear student, write down next topic. It is mobility. Write down next topic. It is mobility. Write down next topic. It is mobility. So what actually mobility is? Now we'll discuss. Mobility. Write down mobility. Mobility. Mobility is represented by, my dear student, mu. Mobility is represented by mu. So write down mobility is represented by mu. Mobility is represented by mu. I'll write here mobility. Mobility. So mobility is basically a ratio of drift velocity and electric field inside the conductor. It is the ratio of drift velocity of free electron and electric field. So write down the mobility of charge carrier is, 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 the mobility of charge carrier is the drift velocity. The drift velocity acquired, the drift velocity, the drift velocity acquired, the drift velocity acquired by free electron per unit electric field, per unit electric field. The mobility of charge carrier is the drift velocity acquired by free electron per unit electric field. So mobility is represented by mu and it is drift velocity per unit electric field. Drift velocity per unit electric field, and we know that the value of drift velocity is Vd is equals to E by m into tau. So put the value in mobility is equals to E by m into tau into E get cancelled, so mu is equals to E into tau by m. So this is the relation of mobility of charge carrier. Mobility of charge carrier. So my dear student, remember mobility is nothing but a ratio of drift velocity per unit electric field. Ratio of drift velocity per unit electric field. Ratio of drift velocity per unit electric field. So this is basically mu is equals to E into tau by m. Now see my dear student, mobility is basically for charge, and charge is of two types. One is electron, and we can say electron means negative charge, and other is positive charge, which is considered to be holes. Remember, in semiconductor the current is due to positive charge, that is holes, as well as electron. Remember this thing, we have two different types of charge carrier. One is hole, which is considered to be positive charge, and another is free electron, which is considered to be negative charge. So remember this thing, current is due to both positive and negative charge. Remember this thing, my dear student, positive charge is considered to be holes and negative charge is considered to be electrons. So we'll say mobility of electron can be write as E, that is basic charge. See, the charge on positive and negative is same, so E cannot be changes, but tau, which is relaxation time, that is average time of collision between two charges, is different for hole as well as for electron. So we'll write tau E upon mass is, again mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg, but if I am talking about mass of hole, which is positive charge, which is considered to be 1.67 into 10 raised to power minus 27 kg, so I'll write mass of electron. This is basically mobility of electron. Similarly, if I'll talk about mobility of holes, which is considered to be positive charge, my dear student, don't worry about this term hole. Hole is nothing but positive charge, which means proton. So I'll write here H is equals to charge on hole and charge on electron is same. It is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. So E is same, but relaxation time is quite different. So tau H by mH. So this is basically mobility of electron, and this is basically mobility of hole. So my dear student, mobility is nothing but ratio of drift velocity per unit electric field. Mobility of positive charge and mobility of negative charge is different. Remember this thing, charge on holes positive charge and charge on electron, that is negative charge, is same, but relaxation time and mass is different. So this is all about mobility. Mobility is nothing but drift velocity per unit electric field. Now if I am talking about its SI unit, see, SI unit of mobility, its SI unit is basically drift velocity, which is meter per second, and electric field, we know that electric field is nothing but force experienced by unit positive charge, that is Newton per coulomb. So Newton per coulomb, this is the SI unit of mobility, that is meter per second upon Newton per coulomb. Meter per second or Newton per Coulomb. One more formula of electric field is there. It is V by L. So V is voltage, that is volt, and L is length, that is meter. So SI unit of mobility is also can be write as meter per second, and electric field volt meter. So it is meter square second inverse volt inverse. This is also the SI unit of mobility. See my dear student, mobility is drift velocity per unit electric field. The SI unit of velocity is meter per second, and there is another SI unit of electric field, because electric field is nothing but V by L, potential upon length. So V, potential means volt and length means meter. So meter square second inverse per volt is the SI unit of mobility. Moving forward my dear student, write down next topic, relation between electric current and mobility of semiconductor. Relation between electric current and mobility. Relation between electric current and mobility. Relation between electric current and mobility for a semiconductor. Relation between electric current and mobility for a semiconductor. As I already tell you, in semiconductor the current flowing is due to both positive as well as negative charges. Write down the heading, relation between write down next heading. I hope you all are understanding each and every formula. These formulas very important to solve the small numericals, especially for NEET student. These all formulas are very important. So our next topic is relation between electric current and mobility for a semiconductor. Mobility for a semiconductor. So see my dear student, as we all know, for semiconductor, remember this thing, for semiconductor current is due to both electron as well as holes, which is considered to be positive charge. So current in semiconductor can be write as current due to electron and current due to, my dear student, holes. Now we all know I is equals to NEAVD. This is the relation, and we know that mobility is nothing but drift velocity per unit electric field. So I can be write as, instead of VD we can write mu into E. So the relation I becomes equals to C N into E into A into mu into E. Now we'll put the relation of electric field in this equation, which is current in semiconductor. This is the relation of current in semiconductor, dear student. This is the relation of current in semiconductor. So I becomes equals to IE, that is basically number current due to electron. So we'll write it as NEA mu for electron into E plus NEA mu for hole into E. I hope you all understand this thing. Now see my dear student, N is basically number of free electrons and this N is number of holes. So I'll write Ne and NH. So what we'll get, I is equals to EA and E comes outside. It will be Ne mu E plus NH and mu H. This is the relation of current and mobility for semiconductor. I hope you all understand this equation as well, my dear student. So I hope you'll get each and every relation. This topic, today's lecture, is very important for your board exam. Every relation will be asked many times, so try to cover all the relations and make your proper note, my dear students. So thank you so much for today. In next class we'll discuss some more topics and we'll move forward and we'll perform some numerical. Until and unless, make proper notes, try to write each and every formula in a proper manner so that you will study more. Thank you so much, my dear student, connecting with us. Stay happy, stay safe, take care.